Hi and welcome back to my channel. Let's have a quick review of the previous lessons, especially for those who are new to the channel. In the first lesson, we have created this mark sheet, which is fully dynamic, that calculates all the grades, pass, fail, and the position, A plus, everything that's calculated. In the second lesson, we have created this fully dynamic detailed mark certificate, or you can call it student report card with the logo and auto signature. The signature is printed dynamically, and all the subjects and the total marks and everything is fully dynamic. You just change the serial number and you will get the result of that student. And in the third lesson, we have created this customer list, how to manage your customer in Excel, that gives you all the opening balances and the total amount of purchase that has been made, and the paid amount and the balance with the last invoice date, last payment date, and the credit limit, and a lot of conditional formatting. In the fourth lesson, we have created this fully dynamic dashboard that will carry you from one sheet to another sheet. You know that navigating through sheets in Excel is not an easy thing to do, so we are looking for these small tabs. Instead of looking for these small tabs, you can just navigate through the buttons, and this we have created button. We can go to the mark sheet, DMC, back to home, customers, sale invoice detail, receipt vouchers. You can navigate directly from from sheet to sheet just with a click of a button.
So I've already created the sheet, formatted it, I've written the headings, all of them. First thing that we have is the sale invoice number, and as previously I've told you that always check the last invoice number that you have on the manual pad that is present there. Suppose it starts from 500, then you must start your invoice number in the 501, and I'll just enter the date 18 for example, and the customer ID. From here I can check the customer ID. One is name, so for example I want to create invoice for this one. Even I've blocked it, but I want to show you that it will show me the warning message there, customer ID number 1. So let me delete the formula so I can create it again, and now I want the name to come automatically. We are going to use the same VLOOKUP formula, and the lookup value is customer ID, comma, and the table and array that is from the customer list I want from here. So I'll just select till the district, all of it, long range like 999, comma, and the column and index. I've already written the index column number here, so I'm just going to move to column number 2, and comma, I want the exact match, so I'll press 0. That's it. It gives me the name, and let me just lock up the formula. So can I drag it? I want the column to be locked F4 twice, and here I want the table to be locked completely, and this here I want only the row to be locked, row number 1. So I'll just press F4 twice and it is locked. Now I'll drag the formula to the next column, that is the address. Here I want is the address, that is the city and the district or the state, for example. So city is in column G, and the district is, or the state is in column H. So I want both of them. In the sale invoice, I'll go back to sale invoice. I'll just change this to G, press enter. No, sorry, I'll just change this to this I'll change to column G, press enter. You see I get the state. Now I'll just copy this formula, Control C, and I'll concatenate it with just putting a dash in between, semicolon and person, and Control V. Now I'll change this to H, just the index number, that's all. Press enter. So it gives me deal and deal, because here both of them are the. Let me change this to, suppose, another place, Wari, the city, Wari, so you can have a difference here. Let's see Wari and there. So state and both are given. Now I want the subtotal of this invoice. So always when you see so many people, they'll maintain their sale invoice and the sale invoice detail on the same sheet. So that is something awkward to do, because always in database they are maintained separately and they have a relationship. For example, this invoice number is the relationship key in the invoice detail. You see here it will be repeated, but in sale invoice it will not be repeated. Here it will be only written once. So I have created sale invoice separately and sale invoice detail on a separate sheet, and I'm going to show you in the next lesson how to create this complete dynamic sale invoice detail that will give you all the prices of each and every item dynamically as you enter the item 7. It gives me RAM 128 MB DDR, and this is the price cost, but this I'll show you in the next lesson. We are going to continue there. At the moment, just concentrate on our sale invoices. So here from this detail I'll get the subtotal of my invoice. So it is recommended that you create all these pages in advance, like this sale invoice. Create a sale invoice detail just in this designing. For the don't think about the formulas. This we are going to continue, but just the headings and everything, and you just write the values so that you can get the subtotals and the receipt vouchers, receipt voucher details, and the items. So you better create these sheets in advance. So in the next one we are doing it, you will not waste your time in creating it again and again. So in sale invoice here I want the subtotal. So the subtotal will be based on the criteria of this invoice. How many items are present in this invoice? So to get the subtotal, I'll just write equal to sum if tab. Now the range is here in the sale invoice, and this is my range. You see here, and just select the long range 9999. Sorry, 3 times comma. Now the criteria lies in the sale invoice, and there is a 501. Press comma. Now the sum range is in the detail sale invoice detail, and this total is the sum range. This is what I want. So let me give it a long range 999. Yeah, press enter. You see I get 7,250. Let's go and check it. Select all of them. You see here you get 7,250. So according to this, the sum is perfect. Now let's just, if I write 502, another invoice, for example, an item, for example number 5, and 10 pieces 200, and the cost price is 150. So now you see here the total now is 9,250. But here in the sale invoice, as I have given the criteria in sum if, this will not change. But as I write 502 control D, and the customer number 2, I haven't dragged the formula, so let me drag the formula. Let me fill the formula. So let me fill this also. Now here I think I didn't fix the columns. Let me fix the columns also. So here is range F4, and in sale invoice I just need to fix the column F4 twice, and sum range F4. Press enter. Now let me fill the formula. You see I dynamically get 2000 because in sale invoice detail the amount for this invoice is 502 is 2000. So this will get the subtotal dynamically. Now I want to give them a discount for this. For example, this one I'm going to give 50 rupees discount. So I want to get the total is equal to this subtotal minus discount plus enter. So you get 7,200. Now the text, how I'm going to apply the text. So let me change the format to general. For example, the text is 5%. So before entering, I'll just format this as a percentage, and I enter 5% equal to. Now calculate the percentage. Just press equal to, and this amount multiplied by the percentage. That's it. You get 360. Let's check 360. So now this is, if I write 10%, you will get 720. So 5% is the, and the amount, taxable amount is, tax amount is 360. Now the net amount is equal to the 7,200 plus this 360. This is the net amount. Now how much he has paid? Let me calculate the balance also. Equal to amount minus the paid amount. Enter. So this I get. Now how to calculate the paid amount, that how much he has totally paid. So for that purpose you have to create a receipt voucher, and in the receipt voucher there is a detail, because I want to track each and every invoice. I want to see that each and every invoice is paid or not. For that purpose I'll change this invoice also to the same name, that is name, so that you can see name. I'll just fill the formulas. The tax is 5%, and just fill this formula also, and net amount formula also, and the balance also. Just by double clicking it you will get the formula filled. And if you don't know that, just select all the range and press Ctrl D, and you can fill the formula. This we have repeated in the previous lesson, so I'm not going to repeat it again and again. Now the paid amount, how I'll get the paid amount? The paid amount I'll get in receipt vouchers. So, but not from the receipt vouchers total. I'm going to get it from the receipt voucher detail because I've created two separate sheets. As I've created two separate sheets for the sale invoice and sale invoice detail, the same I've created separate sheets for receipt voucher and receipt voucher details. You see here the receipt voucher, and here the receipt voucher details. So I've entered one receipt voucher 20201, and it is paid on 28. Customer this cash his payment is 3000, for example. Now I'll go into the receipt voucher details, and here I'll enter, for example, I already entered it 201 and 50, and he has paid 3000. Now the net balance is 7005, total balance is 7500 now, but I have to bring this amount here. I want to calculate here, so I'll calculate the individual payment for each and every invoice here. Let's see, equal to sum if the same formula, and my sum range, now the range is in receipt voucher details. This invoice number is here 501. I'll select the long range 999 press comma. Now the criteria is in sale invoice. This is my criteria, comma, and the sum range is in receipt voucher details. Now this paid amount is the sum range in receipt voucher details. I'll select long range 999 and press enter. You see here I get 3000. Now this 3000 and the balance is 4560. Now to calculate the status, how to find out the status of each and every invoice. To do that, I'll enter the formula here, because here I already entered the formula for the paid amount. So I'll just enter here because I haven't dragged the formula yet. So I'll use the formula here. First of thing I have to check is if this invoice is fully paid, and for a fully paid invoice this should be 0. So I'll just write here 2100 here. So that means now it is fully paid. I'll just formula, I'll enter the formula equal to if balance is equal to 0, then this invoice is f dot paid, that means fully paid, comma, else just show not paid. I'll just leave the else for the moment. So it gives me fully paid. Now as I delete this, it gives me false. Now the second statement is that this is whether partially paid. One is fully paid. The second is to find out it's partially paid or not. Suppose if I made a partial payment of 2000, for example. So what I get is 100. So this is partially paid. For that purpose, I'll enter here another formula, comma, for the false. If this net value is not equal to, that means the less than greater than, when you enter both these signs, that means not equal to the balance amount, not equal to the balance amount, that means it is partially paid, comma, then I'll write partially paid, close the bracket. Now if it is fully paid or partially paid, the third option we have is it is not paid. So I'll, in the second, if value is false, I'll write not paid, n dot paid, not paid, and press enter. Click yes. You see it gives me partially paid. As I remove this, it says not paid. If I make the full payment, now it says fully paid. Now formula is working perfect. So I'll just fill the formula, drag it upward. Now double click to fill the formula. Now I get, you see, for here I'm getting fully paid. Why? Because this is 0 and this is 0. So to avoid such type of mistakes, what I'll do, if there is no this total amount, net amount is 0, then it should give me blank, it should give nothing. I'll just enter before this if, I'll enter another if press tab, this net amount is equal to 0, comma, then just return blank, comma, press enter, yes, and now double click it. You see, now again empty cells. So this way you can maintain, and let me drag the formula, this also, just double click it, and you say now when this payment goes to, complete payment is done in the receipt voucher details. This is invoice 501, and let me make this payment, the total payment should be let me see here, 501, Total payment should be 7,560. In reciprocal details, I'll just write here 7,560. Even though it's going to give me minus this, but we'll calculate this later on. I'll change here also 7,560. Now you see here sale invoice, it dynamically changes to fully paid. So this way we can track our each and every invoice. But the second one you see is written not paid. So this is what you can do. Now here I need the list of salesmen. Which salesman has created this sale invoice. So to create a list of salesmen, previously what we have done is in data validation, as I've showed you in this customer list. You see here in the status we have created a list, dynamic list of active, inactive and blocked, and just by entering the names directly there. So here in the sale invoice I'm going to create a list, and that list should grow automatically. And to do that, in the admin sheet I've created a list of salesmen. Let me go to the home page. Here you see I've created a list of salesmen. So in this there's nothing, just a simple format I've applied. And to show you how I applied this format, you see when I write another name, for example Naeem, the color dynamically changes and the format applies. As I delete it, the list, the format is changed. So I'll just show you how I've done this format. I'll select a long range and go to conditional formatting, home, conditional formatting. I'll just first clear the rules from this cells. Now I'll create a new rules. You see now there's no format there. I want them to get formatted as I type the name of the salesman. I want to get it formatted. Let me keep it till 35. I'll go to conditional format and I'll select new rules. Now here in the new rules I'll select using formula this cell D is not equal to blank. Yeah, and then format, just apply the border, outside border, and the field should be white color. Click OK, OK, click apply. You see here I get, so as I add another name, for example name, I get this, the format is changed dynamically. So this is just a simple list and I applied a conditional format on it. Now to get this list there dynamically, we are going to use the range. We are going to give it a range, data validation. And here in the data validation, click data validation and list, then click the source. Now the source is equal to, I'll go back to the admin sheet, and from here I'll select this list 25 till 24. Yeah, press enter, click OK. So here I dynamically get the list of all the salesmen, but as you can see there's an empty space also here, because here I've selected the range in the admin sheet till 24, and all I have is till 24. I have blank spaces from here. You see this is blank, so it also gives me the blank spaces, and I don't want to see the blank spaces. I just want to see the names of the salesmen. And to do that, what I have to do is I'll reuse a formula, that is offset formula. And let me first show you how it works. The offset formula here equal to offset. Now first thing it asks me is reference, so my reference is here, this salesman list, comma. Next thing it's asked me rows, that is how many rows I want to move down. So I'll just select the first one. I want to move one row below. I'll just write one. And they ask me for columns, it's the same column. I don't want to move any columns, I'll just leave it blank. And the second thing it's asked me is the height. At the moment I'll just write one cell, and width is the same, so I'll just leave it blank. Press enter. You see it returns Abdullah. Let me change the font. Let me give it a fill so that you can see it. It gives me Abdullah. So if I change this to the second one, the row, to the second row, it will give me Zahid. Now I want this to be dynamic. How it should be dynamic? It should give me all the ranges, all the name, all the names in this range. And to do that, I'll just change the height. Let me change this back to 1. It gives me Abdullah, the first name. And here in the height section, I'll write, for example, 20. Press enter. It gives me an error. It says value because Excel cannot show all the names in a single cell. So what I'll do, I'll just go to the formula and press F9. You see here, it gives me all the ranges: Abdullah, Zahid, Asif, Zain, Rashid, but it's giving me 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Why? Just press escape. I've written the height is 20. So it counts 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And after 5, it gives me 0 for all the empty place ranges that I have here. If I add another name here, for example, Tahir. Now let's go back to a formula bar. You must understand this offset is very important. Now I press F9 to see what the formula is returning. You see, it returns Abdullah, Zahid, till Tahir, and then returns the 0, 0 for the next. So I don't want to return these zeros, because if I copy this formula to my data validation, it will return the, instead of zeros, it will return the blank. So I don't want this. And to remove this, what I have to do is this height. This height, the counting of this height should be dynamic. And how to do it? We will use another formula that is called CountA. And previously also I've used it. Let me show you. I'll just type here equal to CountA. CountA will count the names from here. Let me select a long range. For example, let's make it 99. Press enter. It returns 6 because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These are the 6 names. Now I'll reuse this count formula. Let me fix the range. Value F4. Press enter. Now I'll use this as the height for the offset. Now I'll just copy the formula. Control C. Press escape. Go to the value. Click here. And instead of height, I'll enter the formula. Control V and press enter. Now you see. Let me click here. In the formula bar, check it again, press F9. You see Abdullah, Zahid. There are no zeros here because the height of the offset formula is now dynamic. So now I'll copy this formula and enter into the validation. So it will give me exact names only. And we have to do one thing. I'll repeat the same formula again because on that sheet I'll need the sheet name also. So I'll just delete this and just Control D, remove the field. I'll go to my sale invoice and I'll just fill the formula here. Control. I'll remove the data validation first. Go to data validation. Remove this data validation. Clear. Press OK. I'll just enter the formula here. For example, equal to offset. Offset is my reference is the sheet, this admin sheet from salesman list. Okay, and I'll fix this sheet. I'll fix it. Press F4, comma. Now what I need is to move one row below it. So on this same rows I want it one row below, 1, comma. Now column I don't need, it's a single column. For the height I'll use the same count function, count A, press tab. I'll go back to the admin sheet and I'll count from here. I'll select a long range, 999. Close the brackets, press, and I'll just lock the form F by pressing F4. I'll fix it and press enter. Press yes. You see now I get a value error. Let's check the formula. Press F9. You see I get the names. Press escape. Always press escape. Press escape. Now I'll copy this formula from here. Control C, escape, and go to select. I'll select this long range. I want to apply the data validation here. Go to data validation, select list, and here I'll paste the formula. Control V and click OK. Now let's see. Here you see now I only get the names. I don't get the blank spaces. So this is how, with the help of offset, you can create a dynamic list. Now if I delete, suppose the last name, I'll delete the last name from the admin sheet. I'll go back to home. I'll just select Tahir from there. Press delete. The format is changed and go to sale invoice. And here you see now Tahir is deleted. So for this sale I'll enter Abdullah. For this one I'll enter Zahid, for example. So this way you can get a dynamic list of your salesmen. Now let's calculate the total cost of goods. We are going to use the same SUMIF formula, and I have the total cost of goods in the sale invoice detail. Here in this column you see this is the total cost of the goods that has been sold. For example, this I've sold 5 quantity and the cost is 150. It gives me 750. SUMIF the values here in the sale. So I'll use the same formula is equal to SUMIF, press tab. Now the range is in the sale invoice detail. The range is my sale invoice number here. I select a long range 999, press comma. Now the criteria is the sale invoice, this one. I just remove the sale invoice from me because I'm on the same sheet, and press comma, and the sum range is the cost of goods from here. So just press 999, press enter. It gives me 6,250. Let's go and take it invoice. This is the 3 items that we have sold, and it gives me, you see here, 6,250. So our formula is working perfect. Let me fix it. Fix the column and the ranges. Press F4 once. Here in the criteria, I just need to fix the column. I'll press F4 twice. And the sum range, I'll fix it. Press F4. Press enter and just double click to fill the formula. Here I get 1,500. I'll just calculate the gross profit equal to this net amount minus total cost of goods. Press enter. I get 1,310. Just double click. You get the total, the gross profit in this column. If I want to search for an invoice, I have a lot of invoices. I want to search for it. Then I want to search here. This is the search bar. But I want here the last invoice to be played dynamically. I mean, whenever I enter invoice 503, I want to display that sale detail of that invoice here dynamically. I mean, I don't need to search it. Every time when I enter a new invoice, I want it to be displayed here. And to do that, we'll use a max formula to get the invoice number equal to max. And these are the invoice numbers. I'll select the wrong range, 999. Press enter. I get the last invoice. See, if I enter here 503, I'll get 5303 here dynamically. Let me delete this. Now I want is to get the customer ID for this invoice. We'll use the VLOOKUP formula equal to VLOOKUP, press tab, and the lookup value is D3 here, just behind the formula, comma, and the table and array starts from here all to T. I'll select the long range 999, press comma, and the column or index is E because I already written the column numbers here. So I'll just go to 1 to E and press comma. Now on the exact mode, press enter. I get see customer ID number 1. So this is 502 customer ID number 1. I just fix the ranges D3. I'll fix it. Lookup value F4. I'll fix the table and array by pressing F4, but I'll not fix the column index. I'll just fix here the row because in this row I've written the column index numbers, so I don't have to enter the index number manually. It will be dynamic. So I'll just fix the row by pressing F4 and press enter. Now I'll just drag the formula here. You see, I get everything dynamically. If I want to search, so now it is returning me the last invoice. You see, purchases subtotal 2,000. There is no discount, 0 discount. The percent tax is let's change this to format this to percentage, so it remove the zeros. It gives me 5%. The taxable amount is 100 and 2,100 not paid, everything. But what if I want to search manually? And to do a manual search, for example, I want to look for 501. I want this value to be searched. To do that, what I have to do, I'll just enter here formula. If it's not equal to blank, then it should return this the same cell. It should return C3. And if it is blank, then it should do the calculation. I just close the bracket, press enter. There's some mistake. C3. Yeah, sorry. Yes, I forgot to type this. Now press enter. You see, now it returns 501. As I delete this, it will return 50 to the last one. So this is how we can make a search, a manual search for a sale invoice. Let's format, give it a good first the format to all these. Hold the control key and select one by one. Here also all of them. Now I'll go give the comma, thousand separator, and reduce the zeros. So this is the format. Now what I want to do is I want a warning. For example, this name, he is blocked. Let's go to customer. You see here, he is blocked. But I've already made a sales to the person who is blocked, and I didn't know. So to know that, what I'll have to do is to create a warning here in this place. I'll create a warning that whenever I enter an customer ID, it should show me the status of that customer. And to do that, I'll create a warning in this section, in this area. I've already merged this cell. Now you can see I've merged this cell, selected these three cells, and I've merged it. So let's create a warning here. So to create a warning message here, I'll just change the size of this column. First of all, I want here is the customer ID. So I'll just type equal to this customer ID on this cell, because I want to show the warning for the customer that is selected here. So the customer ID is 1. And now here I want the status of this customer. The status could be either he's, let's go to a customer list, either he's blocked or he has crossed the limit, like this person you see, he has crossed the credit limit, or he is blocked and he has crossed the credit limit. So there are three type of messages we are going to display in our sale invoice. So first thing I want to check if this person is blocked or not. To do that, in this always we use VLOOKUP, but this time I'm not going to use VLOOKUP. I'm going to use index, because index is also used for returning values. And to do that, I'll just type equal to index, and it asks me where is my answer. The array means where is my answer. So my answer is I want to look for the status of this customer number 1. So I'll go to customer list and I'll just select the status. This is the status, and I'll select a long range 999, comma. Now it asks me the row number. So I just enter the row number manually, then I'm going to make it dynamic. So I know the row number is here in this range. It is row number, it slides on number 5, but this is not number 5 as I've selected from here, so it becomes row number 1. So I'll just type number 1 and then press comma. It asks me the column number, so it is the same single column. I'll just omit this, press enter. You see it returns block. So this blocked. Now on the basis of this, now I have entered this manually. So if I enter row number 2, it will return inactive, even though this is number 1. So how can I make this dynamic to return the row number? And to do that, I'll find the match for this customer ID. I should match this one. And to understand match function, I'll just show you here. Just type equal to, I'll find the match of this column ID in the customer list. You see here from it starts from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I want to find the match for this customer ID in the customer list. I'll just type here is equal to match, lookup value is this, comma, then it asks me lookup array, where is my table. So this is my table. I want to match here. I just will select the single column because I just want to find the row number, and I'll select a long range 999, press comma, and I want exact match, press 0, enter. So it returns 1. You see, now if I change here the customer ID, suppose I change this to 2, it will return 2. So it is that way, it is finding me the match of that row, it returns the match. Now I can use this format. Let me fix it. Lookup value F4 and the lookup array F4, press enter. Now I'll use this match function in the control C in the index function. See, instead of 1 here, when it asks me row number, I'll use the match formula. Press Ctrl V and press enter, and you see it's now returning dynamic. Let me delete this, and suppose if I change this to I change to 2, For example, you see it returns inactive. Let me change back. So now he shows me blocked. So this way now I can create a warning message, and the warning message should be, suppose if this customer is blocked, I'll just create the warning messages here one by one. If this customer is blocked, so I want a warning message that will show me. So I'll just type here equal to comma double quote WRNING warning, and then space warning C dot ID concatenate. This cell should be dynamic, this customer ID, and just press F4 to lock this, and %, double quote, and right is blocked because the first status is blocked. Now press enter. I get this message. Now I've just created the message here. Now I'll just place this message here. I'll write equal to if. Let me move to the side so you can see. Just let me reduce the size. Let me hide a few columns so that after creating escape, press escape, I'll just hide these few columns so that after creating the warning message, I'll unhide them. You can hide the columns like this. Just select the columns, right click, and hide them. I want to make some space so it's visible. All is visible. So I'll just create here a message if equal to if this cell is equal to blocked, double quote, comma. Then it should return this message. Press enter. You see, warning, customer ID number 1. Let me write here customer ID, put a number. Customer ID number 1 is blocked. And now I want, this is 1, is he's blocked. But what if he is not blocked, but he has crossed the credit limit? And to find the credit limit, what we have to do, the credit limit is here in the customer list. You see, the credit limit is, for example, for this person, the credit here you can see the credit limit is 5,000 and his balance is 10,000. So this person, Faisal, he has crossed the credit limit. So I have to check this also, whether he has crossed the credit limit or not. And to do that, I'll just go back to my sale invoice and I'll check here whether he has crossed the credit limit or not. And to find that, we'll just use the same index formula as we have used for the status. So what I'll do is I'll just copy this formula, the index, and I'll just change the references. Control C, escape, and here I'll just press Control V, press enter. So it's showing me blocked, but I want the first find the credit limit with the balance of this customer. So the balance lies in, let's go back to customer list. Our balance is in column N. Here is the balance. So let's see, go to sale invoice. I'll just change this match from I in the array to N. That's it. That's very easy. And press enter. It returns 7,100. Let's see. It's returning me 7,100. So the balance is returned perfectly. But I want to check for this one, for Faisal number 9. So let me just enter another invoice 503, or we can just change this to, instead of name, I'll just write 9 for checking. So it shows me it is blocked, and the credit limit is also over. You see, so I want the credit limit that the balance is 12,100, but his credit limit is 5,000. So let's go here. You see 12,100, and I want to find the credit limit also. So if the credit limit, let me find the credit limit first. Let me show you how to. I'll just concatenate this one, space, or just a dash, concatenate. I'll show you how it works. And now I will copy the Control V, press the same formula, and our press enter. Yes. You see, now I want to find the credit limit. The credit limit is in column Q. So I'll just write here in this formula. Here I'll change from I to Q. I'll just change the column reference. That's all. You press enter. See, I get 12,000. So his credit limit is 5,000 and his balance is 12,100. So I'll just enter here very simply. I'll just remove all this concatenation and I'll just enter greater than symbol. Press enter. It returns true. That means his credit limit has been exceeded. He has exceeded. And if I write here back name, it returns false because he has not crossed the credit limit. So now as he has crossed the credit limit, number 9, I want here a message to show me that he has crossed the credit limit. And to do that, you see here, I'll just write here another warning. I'll just copy this same formula, Control C, and just paste here. This is warning number 2. So I'll write here credit limit over. Just a shortcut. I'm writing all the messages in different cells to show you how to create a large formula, a long formula, a complicated formula by splitting it into different steps. By step, we are going to create. So here you can see I want a warning. So first I'll make someone who has crossed the limit, and let's see in the customer. So this Faisal has crossed the limit. I'll just enter here number 9. So this goes to true. So I'll go to the formula here, and if you see here for false I have written nothing. You see it's for true. For false I'll write if now this value, that is his state is overlay, goes to true, then it should return this warning message, and if not, then it should return blank. Let's enter, press yes. You see it returns blocked. Let me remove the block from Faisal. Go to customer list, and I'll just remove the block temporary, make it active. And here in this, you can see here in the sale invoice, you see it shows me that the credit limit is over for Faisal. Now the third option is if he's blocked and also his credit limit is over. So I'll go back to customer list. I'll change this to block. So I have to find now. I've used both the criteria. He's blocked and his customer his credit limit is over. To do that, I'll create and show you how AND function works. Let me show you. AND is equal to AND. So logical test first one is this cell is equal to blocked, bracket blocked. The second logical test is if this cell is equal to true. Press enter. It returns true. That both the logical tests are true. But if I write here one name, then this returns to false because he has not crossed the credit limit. His credit limit is 50,000. His balance is 7,100. So he has not crossed the credit limit. So as he has not crossed the credit limit, this goes to false and this AND goes to false. Now I'll just change back this to number 9. He's blocked, and so it goes to true. Now I'll create another message. I'll just press Control D, and I'll create another message. This customer ID is blocked and credit limit over. This shortcut. So I'll use this AND function again. I'll copy this function, Control C, press escape. I'll go to if here, and I'll press click here, if tab, Control V. So now if this is true, then what it should return? It should return A7, this warning, the third warning. Else it should continue with the other. Press enter, press escape. So now I get, you see, is blocked, BLO, the spelling is not correct. Let's correct the spelling, blocked. So see, now it returns this one, is blocked, and is now if I change this to 1, it will return only blocked. And now if I write here another one, let me say you 503, another invoice, same date, and the customer is 3, it returns blank. So this is working perfectly. But what I need, I want to conditionally format this. For example, let me delete this one, and now it shows NA. I don't want this NA. I want it to return blank because so to do that, what I'll do is I'll just write another if this value is equal to 0, then return blank, else continue. Press enter. You see, now it returns blank. So what I want is, I want this formula now. I want to remove all these warnings from here, and I want to fix it, paste it here. So I can delete this, and this will become a single long formula with all the messages. Let me remove this, delete. So now now first thing is, if A1 is equal to return A6. Now this is A6. Here is our formula. So I'll just press escape. I start from the first one, from the blocked one. I'll just copy this warning message. Control C, press escape, go back to our formula. Now let's see. If A3 is equal to block, they return A5, and this is A5. I'll just click on A5 here and paste the message here. Press enter. Now I'll delete this one. The second message is in A6. You see, I'll just copy this message, Control C, press escape, go back to the formula. Let's look for A6. This is A6. Just double click it, Control V, and press enter. You see, now I'll delete A6. This third message is in A7. You see here A7. I'll just copy this message, Control C, press escape, delete this message, go back to and look for A7. Here is A7. You see, just select it, press Control V, press enter. Now you see, I've deleted all the messages from here to there, and we have created a complicated if formula. You see, such a complicated formula with all the warnings, everything going perfectly. Now I want to conditionally format this, so this color changes to red. In the warning, let me delete this one. When I want this warning color to change to red, and to do that, let me show you. Before we used to simply check if this cell is empty or not. Let me see, but this cell is not empty. Even if it is empty, is equal to this cell is equal to blank, for example. Press enter, it says false. Now if I write here 503, press tab, Control the same date, and I write 3, even it's true. Why? Because this cell is not empty, it has this formula, so it will always return true, it will never return false. So to do that, how can I easily format this rate? To do that, I'll have to find something, and you see here the warning, it is repeated in every message. So I'll just find the W. If the W is there, because the blank has nothing, but W, if the warning is there, then it should return true or false. So what I'll do, I'll use a function that's called find, is equal to find, press tab. Now find text. What I want to find, I want to find W, comma, within the text, within this text, press enter. You see, it returns 1. Why? Because warning is W is the first letter in this message, in this text. You see, it returns 1. Now I can easily apply the conditional formatting, and that is equal to 1. Press enter, it returns true. And if I write another one, for example 503, same date, I write 3, it will return an error. So whenever it returns an error, that means the conditional format will not be applied. Let me delete this. And now I've copied this formula, Control C, press escape, I'll select this cell, and I'll go to home and conditional formatting and new rules using formula. Just press Control V, and I'll make a format with the fill. So the fill effect should be, it should start from red from the outside, and the second color I'll select just a light orange color, and that's it. And I want it this one in the center. Click OK, and I want the font to be, let the font be black. Click OK. Okay, you see, now this automatically will change to the red color. And let me enter another one. You see 503, Control D, and let me write 3, it goes clear. If I write here 1, it will show me blocked. If I write here 9, it will show me blocked, and credit limit is over. Now let me unhide all the columns. I'll select all the sheet, right click here, unhide the columns, you see, and I'll just resize this cell. Let me see, so that column width is 2.43. I'll just change this to 2.43 column width, 2.43, press enter, and I'll change these fonts to hide them to the same color as the background, and there you see it's hidden. Now this way dynamically I'll get the warning messages, and if it has nothing, if there is no warning for him, it will just disappear. So this is how we can manage our sale invoices in Excel. As we can see here, there is this NA appearing again and again. Let's resize our formula bar. So I don't want this NA to appear here. We can just use the if function. If this customer ID is equal to blank, then return blank, else return, just comma, return that. Just press. So let me fill this up. You see that's gone. And the same we'll do with the location address also. If customer ID is equal to blank, then return blank, else return the formula. Press enter and just double click. So this NaN is gone and it looks nice and clean. I hope you like the video. In the next lesson we're going to complete our invoice detail section, how we can automatically dynamically enter all the prices, all the cost of the goods, and how to get the sale price, the cost price, and the stock dynamically, and the credit limit for the customer, the balance, the credit limit available. All this we'll do in the next lesson. Hope you like the video. Don't forget to share and subscribe the channel. Thanks for watching.